Blueprints is undoubtedly an impressively complex game with a multitude of gameplay mechanics, but because of how guarded the game can be, some of these mechanics are almost as well hidden as its secrets. Some of them you might not ever discover during the course of your playthrough. That's where I come in. I think for at least one of them, knowing about it as early as possible should really help you in your playthrough. So, there will be spoilers in this video. Anyway, let's begin. Up first, we have a big one that I only found out about after playing for over 100 hours. Did you know that it's possible to actually upgrade the planetarium so that it provides you with permanent buffs? Yeah. Some of you may have just stumbled into this, depending on if you happened to have a certain rare item with you when you came in here. But if you didn't know, if you bring the telescope tool into the planetarium during a run, you can unlock the first of 5 permanent upgrades. You're gonna have to do this 5 times in 5 different runs, but once they're all unlocked, they stay unlocked for the rest of your playthrough. The telescope itself is commonly found inside her ladyship's bedchamber, as well as a few other places, such as the walk-in closet and Lost and Found. As for the upgrades themselves, first you look through the telescope and see Fenmora, the red stone. Every day after this, you'll have an apple in your planetarium. Next time, after you eat that apple, pour a little salt on it too. Looking through the telescope will unlock an ivory die as you see Mamora, the guiding light. After this, you look through the telescope and find Veya, the dark shadow, which causes a dirt pile to spawn in the planetarium. Next is Daja the Untamed, which causes a trunk to spawn in the planetarium every day. And finally, the planet that the game takes place on, Mora, which causes a prism key to spawn inside the planetarium every day. Altogether, these upgrades make this room quite nice, so as early as possible in your run, you should complete this little mini quest to fully upgrade the planetarium, and then maybe even adjust the rarity of the room to common. Keep in mind that you can also randomly find coins or keys or such around the seats in this room. I'm not sure if you can find tools though. Let me know down below, please correct me if I'm wrong. It's like a mini attic. And of course, in order to find the planetarium in the first place, you need to look inside the telescope in the observatory. And to find Lost and Found, you dig it up in the basement. I will be making a video on all of the found floor plans very soon, probably as my next video. That'll go into much more detail about these. For now, the electromagnet contraption that you can craft by combining a compass with a battery pack has a funny hidden interaction. As with most other items in the game, if you have the trading post outside and you're looking for a specific one, you might be able to trade your other items in order to find the one that you're looking for. Anyway, once you have the electromagnet, if you're on a run and you really need keys, just draft a locksmith and walk inside, and watch as every key displayed behind the counter gets hoovered up into you. The electromagnet will just immediately automatically steal every key in here, except of course for the lockpick kit and the special key. Similarly, the radiation monitor inside of the shelter can be used in order to completely eliminate the need for keys and a keycard for the day. You can either draft the shelter outside as your outer room, or if you have Blackbridge Grotto unlocked, you can just log into it remotely and then draft whatever room you want outside. If you have an experiment that you can trigger repeatedly, about 5 or 6 times should work, then you can raise the radiation level high enough in order to activate the emergency protocol that will unlock every single door in the estate. Booyah. So keep this in mind if you're ever on a run where you're just 1 or 2 or 3 or any amount of locked doors away from success. This will unlock those doors for you. This next one is the only one of the bunch that I actually don't recommend, but it does completely fit in with the theme of this video because it is a hidden mechanic. You can create the jackhammer in the workshop by combining the shovel with the battery pack and the broken lever. Other than dig spots giving you much better items on average, including sometimes very interesting things, you can even take a casual stroll into the permanently unlockable gemstone cavern outside on the grounds and do a little bit of gem mining in here. Yeah. However, the game does give you a very stern warning. Each time you are successful, the chance of a mine cave-in will increase. A collapse of any scale will permanently close this site, and with it, the daily gems it provides. Permanently does, in fact, mean permanently. So that's why I don't recommend this. Because yeah, I mean, if you happen to have the jackhammer and you need one more gem in order to do something really cool in the game, maybe give it a try. But do keep in mind, please, that the cavern stability is a percentage. I did make myself into the sacrificial lamb and spend a few hours testing this. And in my testing, this permanent cave collapse happened at a fairly high cavern stability percentage. Every time, between the low 60% to as high as 77%. Unless it's balanced a little bit to give you more than one gem per attempt, I would say that this is not worth it at all. But it is a hidden mechanic, and it is interesting. Maybe it will lead to some kind of secret. Who knows? The Secret Garden is one of my favorite rooms in the entire game. Between its vibes, its ability to spread fruit through the entire house, the digging spots, tool spawn locations, a late game puzzle hint, as well as the ability, of course, to open the antechamber. Other than using the power hammer, did you know that you can actually access the other lever for opening the other antechamber door if you draft the garage north of the Secret Garden? Obviously, you have to power the garage in order to open the garage door, but then you can just walk outside around the outside wall of the Secret Garden and access the lever right there. Moreover, I've experimented with this a bunch, and I'm not sure if it's going to lead to the discovery of another puzzle or a hint for anything else, perhaps the fabled eclipse secret. Nevertheless, you can rotate the weather vane in order to show other sides out here to the west. Food for thought. In a game loaded with secrets, perhaps this will lead us down a rabbit hole to another one. Here's another small one before we get to the final two larger mechanics. You ever wonder where all your money goes when you walk into the chapel? Well, if you have a burning glass or the torch from the armory, then you can light these candles on either end of the altar in order to find out. The altar will slowly rise, revealing the Keeper of Tithes, this cute little piggy bank that you can then unceremoniously smash if you would like. Keep in mind that you can only do this one time per playthrough, so make sure you do it adequately late in a playthrough so you can maximize the amount of money you get back. But then you can use this potentially to buy out the showroom and get that trophy, or anything else you might need a lot of money for. The power of money laundering. Finally time to climb that mountain. How many of you have attempted to power the laundry room? I'm sure a good number of you have, but if you haven't, then you're really missing out. This isn't particularly a hidden mechanic, though it is one that I feel goes underused. It's also why the electric eel upgrade for the aquarium is by far my favorite aquarium upgrade, and I've tried them all. It makes it very, very easy to power the laundry room, and I just so happen to have 2 electric eel aquariums in my deck because of the Chamber of Mirrors, which we'll talk about in a little while. But first, entertain me if you will. We're gonna go on a little journey here, making the most amount of money I can possibly make in a day or two. I started, of course, by picking up a sizable daily allowance from the table in the entry hall, before then raiding the treasure trove, picking up every coin in there and the royal scepter, and setting the royal scepter to gold to make shop rooms more common. Then I went to the office and I spread coins all over the estate, making sure to find them all. And then I drafted the vault and picked up every coin on the counter here before finding a treasure map and digging up that buried treasure in the courtyard, which was one of the lost coffers of Mount Holly filled with 40 more coins. And then I decided to test my luck with a little bit of roulette in the casino. In here I lucked out by getting 2 free spins, the first of which gave me another 300 coins. And the second one I failed, but whatever, we already have 955 5 coins. Now, what I did then was I went to the freezer and froze all my assets, making sure that I actually ended my run while inside of a shop room so that I kept the royal scepter. And then I connected the laundry room to my trusty electric eel aquarium, which then allowed me, using a normal washing machine, to turn all of my coins into gems. Before then making use of the powered laundry machine for a nice shoe shine and 1,000 squats, turning all of my gems into steps. And here we are in the great outdoors, breathing that fresh air. Ah, yeah. Who's up for a walk to Reddington? I hope that this short story illustrated for you just how powerful the powered laundry room really can be. Oh, and you can also buy a silver spoon from the showroom in order to get double the steps from anything you eat, as well as the newest trendy pair of Arindas to make sure you don't needlessly waste any of those precious steps. Okay, this one was fun. Now, next, I just want to make sure you're aware of how good the Chamber of Mirrors can be. In order to properly solve it, you want to make sure that you can hit every button inside of it. So you want to surround it on all 4 sides by doorways leading into it. Once you do press all the buttons and collect all the items around the bottom floor here, you can head into the middle and then press this button, and it's actually an elevator that takes you up to a 2nd floor. You actually don't need to hit every button down below to be able to access this, but it's nice, and you're going to need to do that anyway in order to access everything up here. Yes, there are extra items up here hidden within the cupboards in each corner. In order to reach each of these cupboards, you're going to want to lower the glass wall down below. Eventually, you'll be able to reach them all, and the true power of this room is not the items, it's in its ability to add a copy of any of your floor plans to your deck. Obviously, if it's one you don't want a copy of, you don't have to pick it up and you won't get that copy. But if you want to, you can repeatedly solve the Chamber of Mirrors on subsequent days in order to fill your deck with copies of rooms that you really like. Say you want multiple copies of the observatory. You can do that. Multiple conservatories? Because of the nature of this game, heavily RNG dependent, it does take a very long time to test everything, so I will fully admit right now I have not tested this very much, so I'm not exactly sure which floor plans can and cannot possibly be copied by this. I don't know if it's every single floor plan in the game, probably not the foundation, maybe not any of the found floor plans, but using this is exactly how I got 2 electric eel aquariums in my deck, and 2 spare bedrooms, and 2 observatories. Anyway. Once you're able to access a certain book written by a certain lady, you'll read about the effect that sleeping in different bedrooms had on her following day. All of these effects are actually true, it's not just lore, they will affect you the same way. I.e., ending your day in her ladyship's chamber will cause you to have 10 less steps the next day, but 1 extra star. Ending your day in the bunk room has no effect on your steps, but it causes one of those gem flowers to spawn inside the tomb, which is not much, just 1 extra gem, but it is interesting nonetheless. Ending your day inside the servants' quarters causes you to have half the steps the following day, but you get to start with a die. Yay. The best one that we and I know about so far is ending your day in the master bedroom causes you to have 20 extra steps the next day. And then even in the book, I'm trying not to spoil exactly what it is, but you probably already know, this NPC does say that ending her day inside the guest bedroom has no discernible effect the next day, and it doesn't. But there are a lot of different variables that this could actually affect in the game. And I haven't even mentioned the fact that in this book that we got this information from, there is no mention at all of the regular bedroom, the boudoir, or the nursery. So we as a community have no idea at all if ending our days in these rooms has any kind of an effect. I spent a good amount of time testing these, but I wasn't able to discover anything. Let us all know, please, down below in the comments if you discover anything with this. Anyway, finally, if you enter the boudoir on Christmas Day in-game, you're presented with a pile of presents, including 2 keys, 6 gems, 4 dice, and a partridge in a pear tree. It's interesting that this game does not take place on Earth, it takes place on the planet of Mora, but there's still Christmas. Anyway, there are no other holidays that I've been able to find, but there is kind of like a little bit of a whisper in the community that there are staff memos talking about Y2K. So who's up for the 2,556-day playthrough? Let's go. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, I hope that this helped you in some way. I hope that you found it interesting, and I hope that you have a fantastic day. Thank you. See you next time.